Hello everyone, welcome to the Future with HI. My name is Patience Brimo. We have actually been talking about some very important stuff as it has to do with food and nutrition. The last time we talked about fiber, and we said we talked about the benefits and then especially the health benefits of fiber. Today we're actually having a very important topic. You really like this. You will like this. So today we're actually going to be talking about food loss from farm to table. You know, in our landscape, especially in Nigeria or Africa, as the case may be, we experience a lot of food loss. We experience a lot of people do a lot of agriculture, a lot of farming, and then at the end of the day, they're expecting 20 tons, 30 tons of the food that they have planted, but at the end of the day, they get 10 or 5. What is the cost? Why is it like that? And all that. So I actually have a very important person in this place today that will be talking about food loss, as it has to do from farm to table. So the process when the crop is planted, when it's being harvested, and then before it gets to the market and then gets to your table before you start eating. The process involved and why the food loss is actually there and all of those things is what we're going to be talking about today. And then I'm actually very excited to introduce to you all the very special guest that I have today. Is a renowned agri person. He's going to be talking to you about himself. He's going to be introducing himself to you so that I don't miss a jot of what we're talking about. So yes, thank you so much, Mr. Simon. Thank you so much. It's nice to have you in this place today. So please, can you please help my audience to know you better? Let's get to meet you.
Good afternoon. My name is Simon Odu, a graduate of Agricultural Economics and Extension from University of Agriculture, Makurdi. Now Joseph Sanwa Tarka University of Agriculture, Makurdi. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we actually have someone that did agri-economics and extension. So we're going to be having it like the real deal. It's not all of those other things I used to see me do. So today it's going to be the real deal. And so before we go into discussing more about food loss, I would just like you to lay a foundation about food loss. Before food loss happens and all of those things, what's the process? What really leads to food loss? And then maybe you can help us even define what food loss is to some people that are wondering which one is food loss again and all that.
All right.
So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. As I said, my name is Simon Odu. When you talk about food loss, there's something that is very important that you need to take into consideration, which is the process of what? Harvesting. Before you talk about harvesting of this crop or food we're talking about, but when I think about food, I'm talking about both the plant and what? The animal source. Now, immediately you harvest or immediately you slaughter a particular animal, there are 3 processes that start taking place. And these processes are what? We have the biological process, we have the chemical process, and we have the physical what? Process. Now, what brings about the biological process? Once you harvest a particular crop or you slaughter a particular animal, the organisms that's inside them don't die. So those organisms, we call them what? Biological agents. They secrete a particular chemical, which the chemicals we're talking about, into this organism or this plant. We immediately secrete what happened? Decay starts immediately. And when you observe the physical aspect, is when you discover that the animal or the plant, instead will start deteriorating for the plant, the animal will start what? Showing signs of swelling and bad odor will be coming out from the particular animal. Now, for this not to take place, what do? It means that there are plants that you need to what? Make. So that will bring us to the first aspect of what? How to prevent, how to deal with what? Food loss from the farm down to the what? Table. It means that as a farmer, you need a storage facility. It's very important. But before we talk about storage facility, we have to know the difference between what? food loss and what? Wastage. Now, for instance, if you decide to cook a particular food in the night and you eat and there's a leftover, and you decide not to eat it the next day, that is what? Wastage. But when you talk about food loss now, it has to do with processes that involve, that takes place. Since we're talking about what? Food loss from farm to what? Table this thing. How do you handle this? What happened? What happened in the process of you handling these things? As this thing is going on now, for instance, let's take for example now, our ugu, what we call our fluted or pumpkin. The botanical name for fluted pumpkin is Tephreria occidentalis, which you normally call your ugu. Once you harvest, it's still very fresh. Now you are taking it to the market. The time you take it to the market will determine whether it will still retain its freshness or not. Now when it starts dropping its freshness, now we talk about what? Food, the aspect of what? Food lost. So how do you prevent that from happening? That's why storage facility is what? Very important. In any kind of farming, be it animal or plant, you need facility where you can store them.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Simon. That's actually very robust. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, guys, food loss from farm to table. It's not like, I'm sure some people are like, which one is from farm to table, which one is table and all that. So what we're basically talking about is that from when the farmer gets to cultivate the crop till when it gets to the final consumer. When it gets to, like when the farmer gets to cultivate rice and then when it gets to your table and you're eating rice as your fried rice or salad, whatever it is that you're eating. So that's actually what we're saying, that there's some losses that happen between these stages where the farmer gets to harvest the crop and then before it gets to the final consumer, how much is being lost, how much is being wasted and all that, and that's actually the difference. So we're going to be talking about, I think in this platform we've talked about food waste so many times and then we've said so many things that we can do with your leftovers without really wasting them. But then if you really want to know about that, you should go back to all our part series and check. So you should go and check and see what you can do with your food leftovers to avoid wastage and all that. So Mr. Simon, for the food loss, we're still talking about, this time around we're talking to farmers. Basically we're talking to farmers because the consumers are actually not involved in anything that has to do with food loss. Their own is that the food should get to their table. They should be able to get to the market and then buy whatever it is that they need to buy and then come back home and eat it. They really are not interested in how it's lost and all that. But most times it's the farmer that is being affected by these things and all that. So I want you to talk to the farmers right now. Like, what are the things that they can do? Are there ways they can avoid food loss? Is it thin? Is it robust? Is it large? What are the things that they can do? I'm just saying is it thin because I know that the climate where we are, it is really difficult for you to avoid food loss completely. But then there are things we can do. So I just want us to help us talk about some of these things.
One of the things the farmer can do before going into farming, you must have a target. Yeah. Now, if your target is just to produce for yourself and your family, it means that you have to produce what can suit you and your family. Now, if you have a situation where you want to produce not just for your family and yourself, you want to move down to the public, then you need to make what? Planning. So planning is very important. You get the crop, you have a mindset that you are not just producing for yourself or your family, you are going to, if there's excess, you are going to sell the excess. Yes, you're going to put the excess in the market and the rest. Now, definitely if there's chance for excess, it means that we need a storage facility, like a store. A store for those who are into maybe maize farming. Maize farming, like your maize or your sorghum, they can get a store. Immediately the crop matured, they can harvest, baggage it. When you talk about harvest, there are different processes you carry out when you want to do your harvesting. We have 3 methods of harvesting. We have the first method, we have the first one, and picking. When you use your hand to pick, you pluck, or you want to harvest. We have the tool, when you use your tool to harvest, your simple farming implement, like your sickle. Then we have the machinery aspect of it. When we talk about the machinery aspect of it, we're talking about those who are doing commercial farming. But we're talking about the subsistence farming now. What I'm explaining is has to do with the subsistence what? Farming. Now, we have method of what? Harvesting. Method of what? Harvesting. We have the reaping, we have the threshing, we have the cleaning. If you miss this aspect, food loss will start. You see it? Food loss will what? Will start taking place. So it means that if you don't want to have food loss, you need to train people who can harvest. And there are some crop that if you touch, they want to start harvesting. Because this crop you're harvesting now, they have the ability to regenerate. So definitely when you harvest your ugu, you should expect that maybe in 3-4 days or in a week, they should what? Regenerate. And there are some crop, even though they cannot talk, the hand that touch them matters a lot.
Yes, I think ugu has that issue.
Ugu has that issue. Are you seeing it? Yes, ugu has that issue. So, if you want a result, you need to train those who are going to harvest. That's one aspect of it. Then you show them the process of what? Harvesting. Process of harvesting, the process of cleaning, the process of what? Hauling, that is moving them to the location now where you put. Then stacking, bagging matters again. How you bag them. All these things, if all these things are followed, you will not have any food lost. That of the animal, what I explained is that of the crop. That of the animal, you